if I could make everyone in the world go to camp, I would.
You just naturally gravitate towards people you get on with because you've got that environment that you can kind of do that.
My phone and everything wasn't so big.
Yeah.
So try first week of camp, try and put your phone down and engage with people.
For sure.
Just sit and chat.
For me, that was one of the best times where really got to get to know people or experience a lot of America.
Stumbled across camp leaders. I was like, yeah, do you know what? I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
And it completely changed my life.
Even back in the Incubator days, it was always still had the bright stuff as well.
Yeah. I'm getting brighter and brighter.
That's it.
Like in my colours.
I've gone the opposite way.
Yeah,
I'm wearing like all black and everything at the
We're in
moment.
darkness.
Yeah. But not surprised you two have got layers on, being absolutely freezing
Yeah,
cold.
the temp is just right now, I'll tell you that.
Oh my God. Oh, I was going to say, are you happy with the temperature now in here? Because we're here for 45 minutes.
I'm happy,
You could be freezing very soon. I know what you're like.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Amazing. Well, I was going to say, maybe we'll just get straight into it then.
Yeah, let's.
Well, good to see you, mate.
Thank
First
you.
off. I obviously know you very well because we've worked on the same team for years and years now. But
Too long.
Yeah, cut the tape early. But for anyone that's listening or watching, do you want to kind of introduce yourself?
Yeah.
When and where you went to camp and what you do for camp leaders?
Okay. So my name's Roxanne Quinn. And I went to New York YMCA camp for 3 summers.
Love it.
Worked as a lifeguard, then waterfront director, and did counselling as well. So I did a bit of everything.
Love
and
it.
then for camp leaders, I do support and like get people there. Literally anything they need, I'm there for them.
Amazing.
So it's all the customer support I focus on.
Boss. And even outside the camp leaders as well, just thinking about it, you've been blooming everywhere, haven't you, to be fair? And you've worked on all the sort of different programs. Where else have you kind of been? Because I know you were in China as well with Adventure China at one point.
So I did Adventure China. So I was actually a director. So I've actually done different positions, which is, it's good to see it from different angles. So I know what camp directors are looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went and worked in China for 3 months, which was absolutely crazy. Loved it. But yeah, I did America. And then obviously from camp, I decided to keep traveling. So I traveled around the world for like 2 years, straight after my last year at camp.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
Which all happened because of camp.
And yeah, I was going to say, just from knowing you myself, like you done that was like New Zealand and everything as well, wasn't it?
So straight from camp, went to Thailand, then to Australia, New Zealand, Maldives, Hong Kong, Cambodia, Bali.
Yeah, so
I've done a fair bit of traveling. Yeah, New Zealand, Hobbiton, absolutely loved it. I'm a big Lord of the Rings
Lord
fan.
of the Rings.
Oh, love it. So yeah, I did Hobbiton. We did a camper van trip around, so that's what made it amazing.
And
so
here we are, sat in a boardroom instead on a lovely sunny day.
And now I'm sending people to camp rather than me going.
Well, that's it. But do you feel like by having been to camp, that's the sort of thing which then inspired you traveling, and then you kind of go, do you know what? I want other people to be able to do that as well.
100%. Like, if I could make everyone in the world go to camp, I would.
Yeah.
Just because.
And it sounds cheesy, but it's true, isn't it? Like,
literally,
genuinely.
Opened up so many doors for me. Like everywhere I went in the world, I obviously met people I went to camp with, but I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for camp. And for someone who didn't really just went to uni, wanted something to do in the the summers, stumbled across camp leaders and was like, yeah, do you know what? I'll give it a go. Yeah. And it completely changed my life.
Defo.
So yeah, it is crazy. And that's why I think everyone should do it.
Yeah.
Even if they're not into, wanting to potentially be a teacher or work with children in the future. It's just the life experience working with kids. It's just incredible. So yeah.
Opens doors, doesn't it? Because
so many.
You look at it, like we're here now having a chat about summer camp. I didn't even know that this sort of industry existed.
Yeah.
Initially, I was going to kind of have a great time going away and make an impact and stuff. But then like years down the line, you go, here we are type of thing.
It is crazy.
Was chatting about that with Ryan on the last one, like the professional side of going to summer camp and stuff, and on this one we're going to kind of talk a bit about the personal side as well, because that's a big deal for people. And I think especially building up to it, and even though I'm quite a confident person, I was worried when first going to camp I'm like, am I going to get on with people? Is it as I expected? I didn't quite know how it was going to be, but the main thing is I really wanted to get on with the people that I was going to be working with. What's camp really like for being able to make friends? Is it easy? Is there loads of things? Is it tough? What's it like?
Okay, so I'll give you sort of the first steps really to getting out there, and I'd say the first sort of social anxiety you'll get for this whole journey. So I think when you get placed, it's great, you're all excited, and then I'd say about a month later or a few weeks, whatever, it starts creeping in, like, oh my god, I'm going to camp, I'm meeting people,
It's going to be real.
It's real, like, are they going to like me? And your camp will probably put you in a group or some Facebook group or something. You start chatting, and we all started chatting, and then we sort of like grouped up into where people were flying from. I flew from Manchester. Everyone else flew from London. I was just like, great. So I'm flying by myself. So then I was just like, oh my god, they're already going to make friends at the airport. They're going to get drinks together. Like,
I was the same. That's why I was exactly the same.
There's going to be, oh my god, buzzing. I was just like, I can't go. Like, I'm not going to have any friends. And also a big thing is like, I booked a flight back after camp, like about 3 days or 4 days later. I didn't plan on traveling after camp because it was like, classic, I'm not going to make any friends. No one's going to want to travel with me. So, which is hilarious. And that's when I talk to people now. I was like, if you don't have any plans, don't worry. Give yourself some time at the end because you will make friends.
Well, do you know what? Fact. That's a good. Do you know what? We could even chat a whole thing about that when it comes to like after camp travel, because beforehand I was in that exact boat, the same as you were. I was there kind of going, everyone's like, oh, just trust us, you'll meet people. And I was there going, well, I'm an overthinker, I'm a planner, I need to know what's going on. And they went, trust the process, you'll meet people, you'll be fine. And that's how it turns out, isn't it?
Oh, literally. And there we go, we got to camp, and before now I met up with those people I was speaking to in the groups,
on the Facebook groups and stuff.
My first mate, Rochelle, and she came up to me beaming, big smile. I was like, this is good. And she's still my best friend to this day.
Oh, boss.
So,
those Facebook groups are good as well. I'll have to give a shout out to Imo, because Imo was the first person who was in the Facebook group, went to our camp, and actually worked for camp leaders at the time.
Oh, really?
And so I didn't know her prior, but the most lovely person, and was like, yeah, I'll be here, I'll be there, introducing people. Went to the same camp. She was amazing. And you do just make friends even from that start. Phase, don't you?
100%. It's a comfort before you go, just to know that there's actually people going to that camp and everybody is in the same boat. No one has a clue what they're doing. Like, they're all anxious, don't know, like flying by yourself, things like that. But before you know it, few hours a day into camp life, you got your new best friends for life.
And that was one thing I was going to ask. So say if people don't have Facebook as an example, they might be flying to a camp or they're flying from a random place in the UK, which not many people are flying from. When they first get to camp, there's obviously times where, especially for returners are all hugging each other. And you can be a bit like, oh, I don't know anybody, this, that. It is literally within the first few minutes, hours, at least within the first day or two, before you know it, because everyone's in the same boat, aren't they? They start chatting to each other.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when I was the only one from my camp flying from Manchester. I was in my camp leader's blue t-shirt, making sure I stood out so they could see me at the airport.
Anyone could see me there, like, I'm wearing it.
Literally. And I got on the flight and I was sat next to these two girls and I was got chatting to them like you do. They could see I was riddled with nerves and everything. Bless. And they go, are you going to camp? Camp leader's t-shirt gave it away. But then I said, yeah, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I don't know anybody or anything like that. And they said, oh, well, we went to camp last year. We didn't know each other and they were best friends going back out together.
No way. They were returners,
So I was like, oh, that made me feel so much better. So they helped me through the flight and everything. So you're going to make friends. And then you get to camp. You got new best mates. So.
That's it. And they're common routes as well, aren't they? Half the time you fly, a lot of the time with camps, they're all in similar areas really, aren't they? So exactly. You do tend to be on flights where people you can see are nervous as well, but you know they're going to camp.
Most people that are on that flight are probably going to camp. So.
Love it. And again, we spoke about this with Ryan kind of on the first one, like about your first week at camp and stuff like that, but you have all the icebreakers, don't you? And there's loads of different chances where you get to speak to new people. Like, what would you say is the best thing for someone to do during those first few days in regards to making camps? Is it just kind of get out there and get stuck in?
one thing I think when I went to camp in 2013,
Yeah.
iPhones and stuff weren't big then.
Yeah.
You know, social media and stuff like that. I'm making myself out to be ancient
like it's
here.
back in the
My big brick. No,
one
so
of those big Nokias with the sticks out.
dialing up. You have to do that at some camps. My camp, the
camps are in
Wi-Fi
no
was
way, yeah.
bad at the office, but it was great, and that's what I loved. I was like, I went out there with my boyfriend was back at home, and I was just like leaving him. I was like,
Yeah.
But I was like, luckily for me, my phone and everything wasn't so big.
Yeah.
So try first week of camp, try and put your phone down and engage with people.
For sure.
Just sit and chat. Because it's such a weird atmosphere. I think naturally, as soon as you walk into camp and you're in the dining hall or you're in the office, you will just feel that magic and you relax.
Yeah.
You'll naturally feel a tiny bit nervous when you're first meeting people, but you click, you've got something in common, which is camp and traveling and working with children. So you've got that in common. So you've got something to talk about. And then obviously you'll start talking about other things. And before you do go on like little Walmart trips and everything.
Good old Walmart.
Good old Walmart. Love that place. Spent all my wages in
Quite
Walmart.
literally as well, by the way. Literally all of them.
Literally on pointless stuff. Like literally the most pointless stuff, but loved it.
Yeah.
And so those little trips and those little moments are where you're going to like gain those connections. Yeah. And you will naturally gain those connections. Don't force anything. It will happen naturally, and don't overthink it.
Do you know, that's a good one, just not to force it as well, because you end up, if people haven't been to uni, then this is a bad analogy to use, but when you first go to uni, you just naturally gravitate towards people you get on with, because you've got that environment that you can kind of do that. And even if it doesn't happen straight away, like you said, don't force it, because it does end up coming, whether it's who you might be sharing a staff cabin with, or who you might be working with, or someone that you just like the same football teams or something like that. It just happens, doesn't it?
And you're not always going to get along with everyone, and that's with everything in life. I think people put a lot of pressure on themselves at camp. It's meant to be magical all the time. It's meant to be the most amazing thing. I'm going to have hundreds of best friends. Absolutely not, because it's real life as well. That's when you start a new job, you're going to be anxious, you're going to have all these emotions, and you're not going to get along with everyone. You know, they're not going to all be your best friends, but you have to bring that into camp as well. You're not going to get along with everyone, but they're still amazing people. And you're going to have your up days, your bad days and stuff like that, like you would at home.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think don't put pressure on yourself, because as soon as you take that off, you enjoy it more.
That's it. And I like what you said there, because it's real life, isn't it? It's kind of real life and not real life in the absolute same thing. And I don't know how I've just described that, but it somehow makes sense in my head.
100%,
because you go there and it's a world upon itself, yet there are going to be people you don't get on with. There are going to be people that you absolutely love, and there are going to be times when you're absolutely knackered. So that is like all part of it. But I suppose, in fact, talk about a perfect segue, talk about people that you do love. I'm going to drop you in it a tiny bit here, because camp romances, that happens as well, because it is real world. People get to know each other. And I know, because I'm going to your wedding, that's how I know.
My ring's getting made, by the way, so I was going to go on my ring.
Don't film just yet. Come back, do another podcast. Yourself.
A little story. So funny enough, it's a Facebook group. So it was my second summer.
Proper modern marriage starts on the Facebook group.
Yeah, the old Facebook Messenger. And Ollie reached out to me. I think you hands up, everyone has a little stalk on Facebook of who's going to your camp. You all have a look through. Oh, they're nice. Oh, oh, they're good looking. All that. You know, you're naturally, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. So I was in the Facebook group. Returners are always in there to support everybody, and they can reach out, blah blah blah, which is great. Like, I do like the fact you've got support returners in there. But Ollie messaged me about 2 months before camp had started and said, hey, he asked me a couple of questions about camp and lifeguard training, because he was a lifeguard as well, and money, and how much money should I take and all this. And I was like, oh, who's this? Let's have a look.
Friendship started very early.
Yeah. And funny enough, my mate Rochelle, like who I met the year before, we were going back, but because I was leadership my second year, I had to go out a little bit early. And Rochelle, so me and Ollie chatted a little bit. That was fine. End of conversation. I went out to camp early, arrived there. I was the first returner. So I was sat in the dining hall, and I went au naturel, you know, wanted no makeup on, no extensions or anything like that. Girls, you don't need makeup, you don't need extensions while you camp.
Lads either. You just don't.
You don't. So I was in the dining hall, and the rest of them, the newbies, the new lifeguards, were down the other side doing their lifeguard training. And I see Ollie by the coffee machine. I was like,
Met eyes across
you know,
across summer camp.
no. So I'm like this. And I was walking out, and he went, and I got, right, don't like him. But I was just like, he doesn't like me. I'm au natural, like he doesn't like me. Oh my God. Went straight back to the cabin, put makeup on, put the oil extensions in. No, I'm joking.
Ran over.
But we clicked immediately,
Boss.
literally immediately. And that's what I loved about camp. Is like, we were just best friends all summer. Like, we weren't in a relationship or anything during summer. But Rochelle messaged me, and she's just like, "Oh, have you bagged anybody like this?" Joking. I go, "Yeah, I like Ollie," and that was it. And then, funny enough, 8 years later, we're getting married.
That is class.
But all summer we were best mates, and that's the thing at camp. You don't go to camp to find love. Like, if you do, then great, it's a bonus. But like, my best friends, Rochelle, best mate, Adam and Greg, I met them my first year at camp. They got married about 2 months ago.
That's amazing.
It's just because you've got so many connections and so many, like, so much, I don't know, going on with everyone. It's like, I don't know, it's a weird experience, like, weird thing to sort of put into words, but you just connect on a deeper level because you're with each other all the time.
And it's such an intense environment as well, isn't it? Like, you're kind of going through such a shared experience that not unless you've done it, it's hard to kind of explain, because you're working
100%.
hard, it's long hours, but you're making an impact. It can be emotional, it can be challenging, it can be dead fun. And when you start sharing all those emotions and stuff,
they see you go through all those emotions, and they see your worst part, like, waking up half asleep, knackered, looking like Voldemort, you know what I mean? Like Smeagol coming out the cave. Sometimes I was walking down to that waterfront, and everyone just loves you for who you are rather than what you look like. And I think the world has got a bit too much like how you look on Instagram, all that, and that is all that disappears at camp. And I love it, and that's why I loved camp so much, and why I went for 3 years, because it was just me, nothing else.
It takes that filter off, doesn't it? Like, where you kind of feel like, oh, you have to look like this or look like that. I tell you what, get to the end of 10 weeks at camp, and then you realize no one cares about how anyone looks, because everyone's just like, you want to be comfortable. In fact, that's going to be something to chat about in an episode itself, isn't it?
I could talk all day about that.
Just like camp fashion and stuff, because it's a camp fashion, but it's not even a thing, is it? Because camp fashion is be comfy. That's it.
All times.
That's wild.
And like, it's so funny, the girls on the days off, when they put makeup on, they look completely different. They almost look like a ghost, but it's just so random. You're like, why you done that to your face? Because everyone's just not wearing makeup, everyone's just chilling. It's just such a nice vibe. I remember that, like, on days off type of thing. Do you know, if you go into I'd say, I don't know, you're going out somewhere, or you're going for dinner with your team or anything like that. And I remember, like, I wasn't even wearing hair wax, which for me is a weird thing, because I will have it. And then, like, I wouldn't wear it all week. And then I'll put it on like, sort of Friday or Saturday. And I was there thinking, this feels weird. This feels weird. Why am I making this much effort? Come out like that, like electrocuted. Honestly, I was there like, this is not how I look back home, I swear. But it goes. You look so weird. Like, and that's the thing. You want to go to camp, be yourself, and you definitely will, because you've got no choice to, really. And you get forced to be. You've
got to be yourself, like, and because you're around people that often. And in fact, talking on that as well, days off, because for me, that was one of the best times where really got to get to know people, or experience a lot of America. Because I kind of thought, again, one of my preconceptions where I got completely wrong at camp is I'm on camp 24/7. That's it. Like, I know you'd have time off, but I didn't know days off you could go and do a few things and stuff like that. Doffs and stuff like that. The day offs.
Doffs.
Doffs. Yeah. Doffs. Yeah, literally. Yeah, just go doffs. What are you doing on your doff? Yeah.
Love that.
What are they like? What can you do on your days off? And why are they as needed as what they are?
Plenty. You need them, definitely, because you'll hear this term like get thrown around a lot, camp bubble. You get sucked into that, and you do need to step away from it.
Yeah, definitely.
For your own sanity. And I think that's with anything. If you were to stick it, like, if I was in work 24/7,
Yeah.
you know, I think I would go
You go
insane.
crazy. Yeah.
But luckily, it's a different environment at camp. But you do need your own time. You need space. And also getting dressed up. I know what we were just saying about looking like Casper the Ghost, but you
Feels
do
nice.
need you do need to dress up. You need to put on your nice shoes, your nice skirt. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You do need that. But on days off, Walmart classic
Oh,
and this is something I think once you've experienced camp and you've gone through it, something you love about it. So I was in New York, 2 hours out of Manhattan, and the local town we were in was called Port Jervis.
okay.
So Huguenot, there's nothing going on there. You've got some like old bars, you've got Walmart, you've got like a bagel shop, thrift stores, popping.
That's me, by the way. Everything you've just said there, when that's absolutely perfect.
My dream.
Bagels, Walmart, and thrift shops sorted.
Oh, man's pub.
Yeah.
So and like these, they had, and then the next town over, they had this mall. So we did that on a weekend off. We went into the city like once, which was good, and it was a good experience. But we did it, ticked it off. But we wanted to really like spend time together rather than rush around the big city, you know. So we'd book a hotel at the Super 8, classic.
Brilliant.
I think it's actually shut down now, which is sad. But
Camp memory gone.
yeah, camp memory gone. We'd all book a hotel room. We'd all stay in the same hotel. We'll go to Buffalo Wild Wings. Oh God, the bread is amazing.
I was gonna say, we're filming this at like 5:45. I'm
Time for
absolutely
dinner.
starving
Get some
already.
wings for yourself, but they're nothing against Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings, went shopping, spent money we didn't have, loved it. Me and
absolutely.
Rochelle always got matching shoes when we went to camp. But yeah, there was just so many good things to do and also nothing. So you'd see yourself sitting around for ages waiting, but those are the funniest moments, sitting outside Walmart waiting for the camp bus to arrive. They were always the best times. We did some crazy stuff on time off. You'll do it all yourself. You know what I'm on about after camp. Talk to me after camp. Yeah, I'll leave it there with time off. It's just great.
A lot was unsaid there.
I'm just leaving it.
It is though, isn't it? Like, and I think that's half the beauty of it is like, especially on my days off, like those places, I went to camp in Wisconsin and there was like Devil's Lake, which I would never have known about unless I went to camp there. And it was only until when you have a day off that you then go and do these things and you're like, you just get the maddest stories, don't you? But I think half the and I think you just broached on it a bit, was at times you do need to take a bit of a step away as well, don't you? Because it's such an intense environment.
Yeah.
And that's one of those ones where sometimes it's nice just having a bit of a rest as well, if you manage to get a rest in on your day off, because that tends to be active.
And that's the thing, you want to make up for it. You're like, you got your time off, you want to go. So I think towards like the middle of summer when we were feeling a bit burnt out, there's 4 of us, me, Rochelle, Adam, Greg, and we booked a room in a quiet hotel. So that was dead nice, and we just literally chilled for the evening. And also it's okay to stay at camp on your days off. You know, you can do if they've got a speedboat, they're usually flexible with that. You can do all the activities. And I didn't do that until my 3rd year at camp. I didn't go on a horse riding.
Really?
A horse ride. No, scared of horses, but never. Didn't do wakeboarding. 3rd year did it. I was like, I need to tick everything off. So make the most of what's on your doorstep, literally at camp. And also what's around in whitewater rafting. There's loads of lakes and everything by camp. So go and do that on your days off as well. Especially
considering like you don't, well, unless you're super lucky, you don't have it really on your doorstep, do you? Like back when you're back here in the UK.
No,
and then when you get back, don't you? And you think, why didn't I do that?
Why didn't I do it?
I'm back in the office or this, that. I'm not talking about camp leader's office, by the way. But but back in the other times, but I get back and I'll just be like, like, why didn't I just do that?
Make the most of it.
Make the most of it, isn't it?
Make yourself a list and tick it off. Make sure you do it. Luckily I had 3 years at camp and I knew 3rd year was going to be my final year. So I'd made a list and I was like, done. And I felt good. I was satisfied. I was like,
you got the lot.
Yeah. It's just
there's some, isn't it? Like you'll have those sort of times where it does become one for the memory, where you'll always just be able to kind of recall them. And I think that's what's great about summer camp as well, and the days off, is you get to a stage where you'll have stories, and they're the types of things where until you've gone, it's hard to have it explained to you. But once you've been, it's then hard to describe it to others as well, isn't it?
You know, and that's the thing, you got to make your own memories, but
definitely
plenty of amazing days off, and
For sure.
it's always the smaller things, like the daft things, not like I don't think actually any of my big memories are in New York City Centre, like Times Square and stuff. It was like the taxi drive from camp into the local town, and we had Shifty, we called him Shifty because he was a bit shifty. Shifty the drive, and he used to blast the heat, and obviously it's hot anyway, and he used to blast the heat in this people carrier and lock the doors and everything, and it was just so funny. He was harmless, lovely guy. But those things, and we'd be laughing for hours, you know, and got lost whitewater rafting. Friend had to call the police, and I had to walk down a highway in a bikini with a rubber ring trying to cover me walking down a highway. Then this random man.
Can you imagine seeing that in the UK, by the way?
Yeah. What the hell? And we were going past Wendy's. We knew where we had to go to the campsite. We were going past Wendy's, and there was this this couple, quite young couple, I think. I think it was probably the first date. And he goes, they're like, "Are you two okay?" And I was just like, "We're trying to get to the campsite." Funny enough, he worked at that campsite.
Oh, no way.
And he had to give me his T-shirt.
Oh,
and then we got into the car. God knows, but we were desperate. Like, we had no shoes on.
You there go. I walked. I bet it's boiling as well at this point.
It was roasting. So we got into a car with these random people, and they dropped us off at the campsite. And my friend was literally crying her eyes out, thought we'd been killed, abducted, whatever.
But isn't it when you then kind of go, I mean, be safe as much as you can type of thing. But then you've got those random stories where you can at times come back and laugh on certain ones.
And the thing is, in these towns where like camps are, everyone kind of knows one another, or they'll know the camp you've gone to, so they kind of look out for each other, which is really nice as well.
It's a tight community, isn't it?
Yeah, locals know the camp.
Yeah, the camp's a big part of each individual community as well, type of thing. And I think that's some of the funny things, the smaller ones as well. Like, I had some great times going to like Chicago and going to other places, and times where it was just absolutely mad. But then I still remember at times going to this one place which had like incredible ice cream as well, and it just stands out in my head. Or great pizza. And it's those little ones where you think, oh, it's not actually a big deal in the moment, but like I'm thinking, what, 7 years later, I'm there kind of going, I could still eat that pizza.
Yeah.
I could still eat that
fried
pizza.
Oreos. Yeah.
All of it. All of it.
Stop all the food.
Well, that's the best part about day offs. And I think with day offs as well, they're great when you're doing things and everything. I think on the other side as well, there's times where I had to just completely rest. Because as you mentioned, it can be intense. You can have a bit of burnout at times. And I think one thing which is important for everyone to realize is probably to actually focus a bit on your mental health as well.
100%.
Kind of make that a priority at times. So even when people are doing absolutely everything, it can be very easy to get caught up, can't it? And be like, oh, I want to go because everyone's going. But sometimes maybe just take a bit of a back seat. Is that something which you would kind of suggest to people that put that focus on mental health, and what can you do to kind of help that?
So there was, I think everybody, I say this like when I speak to everybody who's going out there, I say there's a point in camp where you hit a wall. Absolutely. And you go, I can't do this anymore, I'm going home. And I think everyone naturally will hit it. If you don't, then fantastic. But I think you will. So I remember the day very clearly. I sat outside the dining hall. There was like a social, the kids were dancing and everything inside. Sat on the porch, like outside like round the side kind of thing, outside the dining hall. And my friends Rochelle and Adam came up, and they're like, Roisin, what's going on? I just broke down. I was just like, I don't really know, but I feel it's like mentally and physically exhausted.
You're fatigued, aren't you? Yeah.
Literally, I couldn't pinpoint what it was, but it was literally drained. Like that is it. I have no energy in me anymore. And I need to go home. And they're like, Roisin, you're going to be fine. And just talking to them, my best mates, and I wasn't alone. They felt the same way. And you just get through it, and you take it day by day after that point. When you do hit a point like that, you take it day by day. And it was a matter of, I just checked in with home, spoke to my sister, and I was fine then.
And then you're feeling better.
Literally fine. I suppose physically as well, like you're always on the go. So I had every intention to go running in the morning, wake up super early, go to the gym. Didn't happen. Think I did it once or something, but you were always on the go anyway. I was a lifeguard, you know. You're walking everywhere with the kids, and you get some steps going at camp.
That's it. Under the sun as well, the heat that you're getting hit with.
So I actually got third-degree burns on my leg. I got a massive blister. Accidents do happen at camp. Injuries, whatever, but it's fine. You've got a support network
Yeah.
around you. The director was amazing. I'd DLs, which is my leadership staff above me as well. And I never felt alone. And as long as you speak about it and don't let it build up, because that's the thing. I could drop, I don't know, a bit of cake on the floor. Actually, that's devastating. It's something really small. I don't know, like I stubbed my toe. That is devastating as well. But I stubbed my toe.
I get what you mean.
And then all of a sudden, you've got like a little negative seed in there because you've woke up, you stubbed your toe. You're not feeling great.
Your
but
energy's
at
off.
camp, that times that by 10 because it's like my foot has fallen off.
Yeah.
That is literally how you feel because you're in this bubble and you can't get out of it. So everything is sort of exaggerated.
Definitely.
So that's why you do need to speak about it.
Yeah.
But that being said, that's probably the worst. But you need to remember, compare it to your life at home. You're going to go to work. You're going to wake up and you're going to feel grim. You know, you're going to go to work and not want to be there. So it's normal life. You're going to feel like that. And I think that's just being a human. You go through these emotions and you're going to feel great one day. You're going to feel bad the next. That's okay. And that's completely normal.
You can't feel bad for it as well because... do you know what? And at times I'm especially when I'm really tired and I'm feeling a bit down. I'm a terrible overthinker.
Yeah,
really am. And then you start thinking all sorts because you're away from home. You miss family. You miss friends. You miss a good cup of tea because tell you what, the tea just isn't the same.
Take your own tea bags. Trust me.
Yeah, take your own tea bags. But it's funny little things like that where I would start going because I was knackered. And you always have loads going on. Sometimes you do just have to go, okay, I'm just going to slow it down.
Yeah.
It's totally normal. Everyone goes through it. People have been going to summer camp and working at summer camp for decades.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make yours any less than anyone else's. Accept it. It ain't great. And if you have to go to the staff room and you just want an evening where you just watch a film or your day off, you just want to get up at midday, that's fine, isn't it? People can do that.
Yeah, 100%. Just remember that feeling's not going to last forever.
Absolutely.
So you're going to feel like it for a little while.
Yeah.
It will not last forever. And also with wanting to come home, that feeling, because I think everyone naturally will, you will get over that. You know, you'll talk to home, but remember, camp isn't forever and make the most of it because before you know it, 8 years later, you've done your summer and everything like that. And like, it's 3 months of your whole entire life. So make the most of it. You will feel homesick, but don't let it take over. You're going to feel, you know, you're missing home, you're missing your parents, you're missing your family, you're missing whoever at home. But that feeling's not going to last forever. And before you know it, you're going to be back where you were and you'd be wishing you were back at camp.
Absolutely.
So,
and I think everyone has that as well, isn't it? Like there's times where I know when you're in the moment, it can feel like a long time.
Yeah.
But I'm sure everyone hates hearing it, but time is a healer with certain things, isn't it? And you end up giving it a bit of time and then you kind of go, you look back, say when it's January, February, sodding wet here and everything, and you kind of think, what I'd do for those days back at camp as well.
Yeah. And imagine if you left that day, if I'd left camp,
how
honestly,
different your life
what would my life be?
I've thought that exact thing as well.
If I went home, you know, and like I applied the year before and I had to withdraw, but luckily I still went the next year. And I was thinking, if I didn't go to that camp, if I left that day, like what would my life be now? Obviously it might be great, whatever, but I can't think of it being any better, to be honest with you.
Any other way. Yeah. And I think it is an opportunity, isn't it? You just kind of go, take it, but recognize those down days. Totally normal. Everyone will have them. And
I think you should have them, to be honest. Like to know that you when the good times are good, they're really good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a very good point. And I think as well, it's matching, looking after your mental health with your physical health as well. So you're doing loads of steps at camp, aren't you? You are doing absolutely loads. If anything like me, I enjoy my food.
I do.
I enjoy my food, and especially in the beginning, like I swear, I nearly had shares in Walmart. Like the amount of rubbish that I was eating, all the different chocolates and
Oreos,
milkshakes,
every flavored Oreo you could think of.
I know.
Ridiculous.
And you get suckered in, don't you? And
I didn't.
Did you not?
No.
Oh, well, I definitely did.
No, I didn't.
I got loads, but it's so easy, isn't it? Like when you're like pizzas and everything, and I think when it comes to physical health as well, it's all right for a bit, but then you kind of realize I'm going to be there for a few months. You have to start looking after yourself a tiny bit as well, don't you?
Definitely. The novelty will wear off, but you go to Walmart, get whatever you want, enjoy it, because this is a moment you will treasure forever.
Definitely.
So get all the Oreos, get everything you want. And you, like, if you keep eating chocolate or sweets or whatever, you're not going to want it all the time.
Yeah.
If you're me, you will. But like, just go for it, because you won't eat like that forever. But be careful where you store your old treats, because Rochelle, my mate, she put them all in a bag under a bunk. I don't think you're allowed foods sometimes in certain camps.
I think I know the story, and this is probably why.
Yeah. Luckily, she didn't bring her mulberry. Rochelle, I've got you back with the old mulberry. But she let the director know about that. But she brings a bag, and she got mice in the cabin, because it was funny, and obviously we got rid of them, but they bit through her bag and she was livid, and like that's because of literally her bag was rammed with snacks. But we saved some, which was good. But
I don't blame the mice. I'll do
I do
exactly the same.
exact same. Yeah, to be honest, it was probably like one of the kids rummaging into it.
They're clever. They're clever.
But yeah, no, you have to, everyone. Well, when I went to camp, we had a salad bar as well, and I had, I was gonna like eating all the salad all the time, every meal. But sometimes that run down, you've got like burgers and stuff like that on like cookout night, which is great. Loved Friday cookouts. You had your ribs and oh god, stop, ribs and everything, and salad, all that. I went for that, and it's all within. You're working hard, you're on the go all the time, and if you put on a few happy camp pounds, so be it, because it will shift, but
I'm still trying to shift them 6 years later.
They'll shift one day.
If anyone asks why I put on weight, I'm like, it's because of camp. I'm like, you haven't been in 6 years.
Yeah, when did you go? But no, I think you'll know your limits. You're not going to go ridiculous, but on your first few times at Walmart, get all the snacks, enjoy it. It's fun. But I think you'll know within yourself whether you're piling on too many pounds. But you'll just want, like, in the morning, you will want a big hearty breakfast, because you're going to be on the go.
You need it.
So just treat yourself, but not too much.
Yeah, I think that, for me, further down the line, I got, again, not even on a vanity point. I just realized when I wasn't eating well, sometimes I kind of had to, even when like cookout was there and stuff, I was there kind of like, I do have to have some of my greens and stuff like this.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly because when I wasn't getting that sort of balanced diet, and I was noticing I might be a bit lethargic, or I might not have energy for the full day. And it was kind of like I'd peak very quickly and then I'd crash and stuff. So I think trying to find that sort of healthy balance in a way, I suppose it's everything with camp, isn't it? That balance.
And I feel like during the morning and like lunchtime, that is when you're going to make the most of the salad bar, and also the fruit bar and stuff like that in the morning, because you feel a bit more lighter, and you sort of get into the mindset that's going to keep me going throughout the day. And then in the evening you have more of an indulgent meal or something like that. But even at every camp, it's the food, because obviously the kids go, you need to make sure they're not piling on the weight and stuff like that. And it's portion controlled as well.
Exactly.
So there's nothing terrible and there wasn't anything real terrible at my camp at all. But I did, in the morning, I would have a salad, like fruit salad and stuff like that.
Start the day off right.
And porridge. What is it? Oatmeal. That's what they called it. Oatmeal, a bit oatmeal. So I had that in the morning, and that kept me going. And also snacking on apples. Never used to do that, but I do now. And I did at camp because they kept me going.
I was going to say, my mum would hear me talking about the fact that, make sure you get your greens in and stuff like that. She's like, mission complete.
Yeah, there you go. Tick, done, sorted.
Got it right. But, I think that's a cool one. Balance overall with camp. I think whether that is when you first get there and you're wanting to meet people, give it time. It'll come. Whether it comes to your days off and feeling burnt out or trying to have a good time, find your balance with that.
Yeah.
But physical health as well, and I think if you get all that in balance, it probably kind of help as much as it could possibly can with your mental health as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, goes hand in hand, the whole lot.
Amazing. Cool. Well, do you know what? At the end of each podcast, we always have like a little roundup. So on everything that we've just spoken about there, if you could have sort of 5 takeaway points, which you feel like really good bits of info, some hidden gems, some diamonds which people could take away, what would be the 5 points?
First point, you will make friends.
Yes.
It's a fact.
Absolutely.
You'll make friends, lifelong friends, within the first few days of getting to camp. So take that pressure off you and throw it away.
Love it.
Second one, throw yourself into the deep end, chat to people, engage in conversation, throw away your phone.
Get rid of it.
Throw away your phone soon you get to camp and get off the Wi-Fi. You can check in with home and social media whenever, but get rid of like social media and phones while you get there, like meeting people at the start.
That's a great shout.
Yeah. 3, with balance with like going off camp and taking time for yourself. You do need it.
Yeah.
So if you're not up for going off to the motel with everybody else and catching up and having a little party, book yourself into a hotel or stay at camp and make the most of what's there.
Definitely.
That I led into my 4th there. Take advantage of what's on your doorstep because there is pure beauty right in front of you.
Completely.
In all aspects of life, to be honest. But you've got an amazing place. Make the most of it. Like, go for a big long hike and stuff like that by yourself or with a friend.
That's it.
And the 5th one, the balance with your food, but rest and mental health, physical health, that is all, it goes hand in hand. And I think the one simple thing you can do to help massively with it is talking to people and talking to your best mate or whoever, calling home, because a little simple thing like that could make a massive difference. And getting enough sleep as well will affect how you feel the following day, what you're going to eat. So all that goes hand in hand. So balance.
Love it.
5 tips.
I was going to say,
me.
I don't think I could add any more to that. That's boss.
Good.
Oh, well, thanks very much, mate, for
Thank you for having
going through.
me.
No, all good. It's we chat that much. It's then weird to do it with microphones in front of us and cameras and stuff.
It is because I hope I didn't bore you to death, but no.
Not at all. No, that was great. But thanks very much again. And
Thank you for having me.
we'll have to jump on again.
Yep, we will.
Cool. The end.
Bye. Oh, there's that camera too.
Yeah, to getting all our sides there.
Did I just look at that at any point?
No, because that's just the one where it just catches us just kind of singing. Right, now for karaoke. Now.
How was that, Byron? Was it a bit boring?
Thanks for watching the Camp Leaders podcast. If you enjoyed it, pop us a like and be sure to follow and subscribe for more of the same.